Good afternoon, children.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
We learned about complex tissues in the previous class. One of you tell me, what are complex tissues? Adigesh?
Complex tissues are tissues that are made of more than one type of cell, which
enough. Which coordinate
coordinate and perform to perform a common function.
Common function. Good. Two examples of complex tissues, Lakshmi. Xylem and phloem. And xylem and phloem together constitute, Lynette?
Vascular bundle.
Vascular bundle. And we call them as conducting or conductive tissues. Why, Anandida? Why do you call them as conducting tissues?
Complex tissues in plants which helps them to transport food.
Yes, they help in the transport of food and water. And phloem has got 4 components. Which are the 4 components, Nikhila? 4 elements.
Tubes, companion cells.
Sieve tubes, companion cells.
Phloem fibers.
Phloem fibers.
Phloem parenchyma.
Phloem parenchyma. Phloem parenchyma. Phloem fibers. Sieve tubes and companion cells. So the sieve tubes and companion cells, they are the main elements that help in the transport of food. Phloem fibers are supportive in function. They provide mechanical support. And phloem parenchyma will store food and also helps in the lateral transport of food. I'll repeat once again. Children, many of your videos are off. Once again, sieve tubes and companion cells will help in the transport of food. Phloem parenchyma stores food and helps in the lateral transport of food. Phloem fibers are supportive in function, or they provide mechanical support. And another point that you should know is that in phloem, the transport can take place in both directions. Upward direction and downward direction. Food can be transported in different directions. And out of the 4 elements, phloem parenchyma, phloem fibers, sieve tubes and companion cells, only phloem fibers are dead. All the other cells are living, or else you can say majority of the cells in phloem are living. Only phloem fibers are dead. Got it? You want me to repeat the points? Phloem consists of 4 elements: phloem fibers, phloem parenchyma, sieve tubes and companion cells. Sieve tubes and companion cells will assist sieve tubes, as the name suggests, companion. These companion cells will assist the sieve tubes, and together they bring about the transport of food. Then phloem parenchyma stores food and helps in the sideways or lateral transport of food, and phloem fibers provide mechanical strength. And in phloem we have sieve tubes. Sieve tubes, that also we learned, they are tubular structures with perforated walls. Perforated walls means small openings are there, and hence the name sieve tube. Just like a sieve, it's also having so many pores on it, and so you call it as sieve tubes. And phloem helps in transporting food from the leaves to different parts of the plant. And 2 more points I told you. In phloem, the transport takes place in different directions. Both in upward and downward direction, food can be transported. And in phloem, majority of the cells are living. Only phloem fibers are dead. Now we are going to learn about xylem, the next complex tissue, that is xylem. The cells of xylem, they have thick walls. So xylem cells are having thick walls, and majority of them are dead cells. In xylem, majority of the cells are dead cells. But in phloem, majority of the cells are living. And xylem consists of 4 components. The 4 components include tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. So these two are same for both phloem and xylem, parenchyma and fibers. Phloem has got phloem fibers and phloem parenchyma. Similarly, xylem has got xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. Apart from that, they have tracheids and vessels. Now let's see the functions of each. Tracheids and vessels, as you can see in the figure, they are tubular structures. They help in transporting water and minerals vertically. Xylem helps in the transport of water. Phloem helps in the transport of food. And tracheids and vessels, they are tubular structures, tube-like structures, and they help in transporting water and minerals vertically. Whereas xylem parenchyma stores food and they help in transporting water in the sideways direction. Xylem fibers are supportive in function. I'll repeat the points again. Xylem, majority of the cells in xylem are dead. Only xylem parenchyma is living. All the other cells are dead. And xylem consists of the cells of xylem consists of thick walls. The 4 types of cells include tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fibers. Now the functions of each. Xylem fibers are supportive in function. They provide mechanical support. Tracheids and vessels, they help in transporting water in the vertical direction, whereas xylem parenchyma stores food and helps in the sideways transport of water. Okay? You want me to repeat? Xylem vessels, tracheids, xylem parenchyma, xylem fibers. Tracheids and vessels help in vertical transport of water and minerals. Xylem parenchyma will store food and helps in sideways transport of water. Xylem fibers are supportive in function. With that, we have completed both xylem and phloem. Now we are going to learn about the differences between xylem and phloem. How are they different? Some of the changes, some of the differences we already discussed. We'll start with the first one. Xylem transports water and minerals. You know, water and minerals are absorbed by the roots. So from the roots to the other parts. Aerial parts means the parts above the soil. So from the roots, water and minerals will be transported to the other parts, to different parts by means of xylem. Whereas phloem, see phloem, O is there, and for food also O. Phloem transports food. From where? It is in the leaves that the food is prepared. So from the leaves to other parts of the plant. Xylem, the transport is unidirectional, only in one direction. Only in a upward direction water can be transported. Whereas phloem, the transport can take place upwards and downwards. It is bidirectional. Transport can take place in different directions. And coming to the third point, except xylem parenchyma, all other cells are dead. Majority of the cells are dead. Whereas in phloem, majority of the cells are living, only phloem fibers are dead. In xylem, majority of the cells are dead. In phloem, majority of the cells are living. Phloem fibers are dead and xylem parenchyma is living. Xylem and phloem differences. Function. Xylem transports water and minerals from where to where? From roots to different parts of the plant. Phloem transports food from the leaves to different parts of the plant. And the direction of transport, unidirectional in xylem, bidirectional or multidirectional in phloem. And xylem, majority of the cells are dead. Only xylem parenchyma is living. Whereas in phloem, majority of the cells are living, only phloem fibers are dead. Okay? Any doubts? Can I stop sharing?
Yes.
Okay. With that, we have completed the SA1 portion. Still here you have for your SA1. Animal tissues, which I'm going to teach next, you don't have to learn for your SA1. So now let's have a quick recap. All turn your videos on. Otherwise, I'm going to put you in the waiting room or remove you from the class. You can decide what is to be done. Alan, tell me about xylem.
Yes,
What did we
ma'am.
learn about xylem?
The cells of the xylem have thick walls and many of them are dead
Majority of them are dead.
dead
Okay.
cells.
Anandita, next point about xylem.
Xylem consists of 4 elements: tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma, and
Xylem vessels. Oh, that you said.
But
Xylem
xylem
vessels,
fiber.
tracheids, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fibers. Fibers and parenchyma are common for both, so you can remember easily. Okay, then next point, Henin. You tell me about the functions of any of these components.
Xylem parenchyma stores food and helps in the sideways conducting of water.
Good, good. Tom, next point.
And vessels and tracheids transport water and minerals vertically.
Yes, xylem, vessels and tracheids will help in transporting water and minerals vertically. Then what about xylem fibers, Nivedya?
Ma'am, they are supportive in function.
Xylem fibers supportive in function. Now parenchyma, she said. So all the 4 elements functions we have discussed. Now next about phloem. Phloem also, let me ask, which are the 4 components? Lakshmi Nandakumar of phloem. 4 components. Just the names.
Phloem fibers, sieve tubes,
correct, companion cells and phloem.
Parenchyma.
Very good. Now we learned the differences between xylem and phloem. 3 differences we discussed. Hira, can you tell me one difference?
Ma'am, in xylem, transport of water and minerals from the roots to the aerial parts of the plant.
And in phloem?
And in phloem, transport of food from leaves to
different parts.
Other parts of the
okay, different parts or other parts. Second function, Adelio.
Ma'am, transportation is in direction for xylem. But it is bidirectional
in phloem. Okay. Next point, Anjana, third point.
Except xylem, in xylem, except xylem parenchyma, all cells are dead. And in phloem, except phloem fibers, all cells are living.
Good. So these are the differences. So with that, we have completed our SA1 portion. So then now the next topic that I'm going to start is about animal tissues. Just like plants, animals are also made up of tissues. Do you know the names of any animal tissues? Any animal tissue that you had learned in lower classes?
Hair.
Hair. What did you say?
Muscle tissues.
Very good. Muscular tissue. Then
Blood.
which tissue? In your brain, which tissue you have? Muscular tissue is correct. Starting with the N. Starting with the N. Not only in brain.
Nerve tissues.
Nervous tissue. Nervous tissue, muscular tissue. Then have you heard about epithelial tissue?
Yes.
No. Connective tissue?
Yes.
I think only you're familiar with muscular and nervous tissue. So in just like in plants, animals are also made up of tissues, and we are going to learn about the different types of animal tissues and its subdivisions. So shall we begin? No confusion in the plant tissues, no? And children, from next week onwards, we can have revision. I'll be continuing with the topic. Along with that, we can have revision also. So next class, this plant tissues, shall I keep for test?
Yes, ma'am.
This chapter up to what I have stopped. Till where I have stopped. That is including plant tissues up to animal tissues. From the beginning till here. Is that fine? Next week? Tell me. Not fine.
Fine, ma'am.
Why others are not saying anything?
Fine.
Adigesh, you need to say something? You want to say something?
No, ma'am.
Huh? Say. Some other test papers are there?
No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Maths.
Maths test paper is there. When?
Monday.
Monday. I will not keep it on Monday.
And
When
there
do
is
you-
no problem.
No problem. Okay. So next biology class, I can take the test, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, Wednesday.
Okay. Done. Wednesday. But when you are saying a date, that day you should learn. You can decide the date.
Ma'am, I
That
said
day-
next biology class is Wednesday.
If you want to change, you can change. You can suggest for the changes.
Friday.
But yes,
Next Friday.
who is that?
Isha.
Who said Isha?
Yes, ma'am.
Next Friday. How many of you want it on Friday? Let me see. Raise your hands. How many of you want it on Friday? How many of you want it on Wednesday? I think if I ask how many of you don't want the test, all hands will be raised. Let me see that first. Okay, quick. How many of you want it on Friday? Only 2. Wednesday? Isha is raising for Wednesday also. So shall I keep it on Friday? Why? What is the problem? You let me know. Some are of the opinion you take it on Wednesday or Friday. We are not going to learn. Is it like that? No.
Ma'am, ma'am, is animal tissue big topic?
Animal tissue?
Is it a big topic?
Not a very big topic. Why, Isha?
Ma'am, so that if we complete the topic, then we can do reason only.
If we complete the topic?
We can do only revision, right?
That after 15th we'll be having revision. After 15th we'll be having revision. And now I thought till then I can continue with the topic. No, so along with that, if revision is there, that means you cannot do self-study. You want it to be discussed in the class. Is that the problem, Isha? You try.
No,
Let's see. We can have.
We can do, but when you're explaining, it will be more.
That we can do. See, you try once for this test. You just attempt one test. So after that, we'll continue. We'll continue with revision, and again we can have more and more tests. Not to worry. This is not only the one test I'm going to give. You will be having more and more tests. So let me see how far you have understood. Then I will come to know which areas I need to repeat again, where you need assistance. All that I will come to know. Okay. Okay, Isha?
Okay.
Yes. Animal tissues. On the basis of the functions they perform, animal tissues can be classified into 4 types. So this classification is based on the functions they perform. Epithelial tissue, nervous tissue, muscular tissue, and connective tissue. The 4 types of animal tissues are epithelial tissue, nervous tissue, muscular tissue, and connective tissue. And what is the criterion for classifying them? It is based on the functions they perform. So depending upon what functions they are performing, we can categorize them into 4 types: epithelial, connective, muscular, and nervous tissue. We'll start with the first one, epithelial tissue. Children, when we learned about plant tissues, I told you about epidermis. What is epidermis?
It is the outer covering.
The outermost layer found in plant cells. Similarly, animals are also having an outer layer of protective tissue, and this is known as epithelial tissue. The covering or protective tissues in the animal body are known as epithelial tissue. Their main function is to cover and protect the animal body. It's the outermost layer of tissue present. It can line the internal organs. It can line the entire body of the organism. So the covering or protective tissues in the animal body are known as epithelial tissues. It covers the organs and cavities. So we have several cavities inside our body. We have different organs. So all these are covered or lined by means of epithelium. And epithelial tissue is found covering the entire body also, the external surface or the outer surface of the body, like skin. Skin is a type of epithelial tissue. You can see them covering the body of the organisms and covering the internal organs and cavities. The skin, the lining of the mouth, the lining of blood vessels, lung alveoli, kidney tubules, all these are made up of epithelial tissues. Thank you, children. See you next class.